Alright. As far as I am aware, we should be live. Alright. So where did we leave off? Here is Maria. Alright, so I think the last time I was working on the flesh of Maria. Looking back at it, I'm pretty happy with it. There's still some things I need to fix. I'm not too sure about how dark it is on the back of her head. Let me get on the active layer. But otherwise, I'm really happy with the skin tone and everything. It looks really good. Just the kind of tone I was originally planning on working with. I did most of the background, at least most of the important bits. I think I still need to obviously make this rug a little bit more complete and then clean up some things in the background. Maybe actually give a little bit more of a tone to everything instead of just this gradient. But we'll go and see how that goes. I think I'm still going to need another session after today in order to get everything done, but just to kind of benchmark where we're at right now. Okay. Alright. Just had to fix some things. I have a new setup once again. I have bought a nicer microphone. You might be able to pick up a lot more in my room than I would like, but I'm not able to fix that right now. I think the next step is to get an arm for the microphone. That way I can actually keep it close to my mouth instead of like a foot away. That way you won't be able to pick up my clicks and buttons. But we'll make do. So where are we going? Let me pull up the to-do list. So, continue blocking out the background, end up shading. Maria started Tetsuya gamer chair, final tweaks. I think for a little while at least we're gonna continue to work on Maria because I want more progress, more noticeable progress, because it feels like I've had like the same visual appeal to everything. That doesn't make any sense. We're gonna keep going. Let's see. These are Maria flat. Here we go. I probably should have done some more reorganizing. Trying to find where we are. Alright, that's the flesh tone. So we're just gonna select color, opaque. Alright. Just so we don't work outside the bounds of the drawing or the colors. And let's find, okay, that's the one. So I think the back of her head is looking a little weird, just one big dark shade. I think it needs more roundness to the shading. So we're just trying to lightly erase it, get a little bit of form to it. Oh, I just realized I don't have any music playing. Okay. Just some nice background music. Something to listen to beside my voice. Yeah, I could tell that some of these sections were a little rushed. I think I intentionally made it a little messy, but that's the secret. It's hard to tell whether or not it's intentional or not whenever you're being messy. That's how we get away with all this art. That's the artist's secret. We're always screwing it up. We just don't let anybody know. Still a little too sharp here. I'm really loving this brush because it has a little bit more depth to it, so you can go softly with the brush, or you can just go hard erase sorry, hard brush. So having those two options just on a whim are really fun. Usually it's a little difficult because you can lose the value and then you have to use the eyedropper tool, which is always kind of a pain to pull out. But if you're careful enough with it, you can just get everything right. Alright. I think I should also add some shading to her ear. I think I remember hearing somebody say that you should always use a multiply tone when you're doing colors. I don't think I agree, but I don't mind trying it right now. In this stage, it's early enough that we can be a little bit more flexible with what I choose to do or not do. Usually my go-to is either an overlay layer or just making the layer slightly transparent so they can actually mix with each other. But multiply is literally like the layer, literally what one would need in this situation. Like it's kind of made for exactly this kind of color application. Yeah, just wanted a little bit of depth to her nose. Or sorry, her ear. Wow, I am just not there today. Let's see if we can add a little bit of redness to her eye bags. Always like that puffy, just cried look. Just finished having a good cry. Also add some redness to her other ear. That's just like hiding away back there. Ooh. Very low key, very chill. I like. Maybe while I'm here, I should go ahead and add some tone to the teeth. On second thought, maybe not. Because I forgot that that's actually a few layers above it. Or is that? Here it is. So we're gonna change the selection to just the teeth area. Add a new layer. Let's add some, just a bit of value, nothing too complex here. I'm thinking that this actually isn't dark enough. I think I want some sharp contrast here. So let me grab another color. Where are Where's my colors? I think this dark violet would be terrible for a normal person's gums, but because I'm going for this kind of dingy looking, sickly looking gum, I think this is okay. I'd even think about adding a bluish tint to it. Like it's almost dehydrated or something. Let's try to turn off the selection for a second. Blue gums. That's the wrong button. No blue gum. Blue gums, no blue gum. I think I like it better without the blue tint. I think just a nice little bit of contrast with the red in the mouth. Okay, then while we're working on this area, let's go ahead and start doing her teeth as well. So select opaque, place, there we go. Now we're just grabbing the teeth area. So how are we gonna do this one? Not that. Think a bluer, grayer shade. because it's already yellowed. I don't want to go too... Adding a darker yellow would saturate how yellow it looks. But if you go in the opposite direction, it might find a happy medium. I'm not sure if any of that makes sense. But hopefully you'll see what I mean. I was about to say, why is it not letting me undo? This is probably one of those areas where I'm gonna work all the detail in and it's not gonna really matter. This one I'm gonna keep normal because I'm just gonna add a bit of a whitish tone. A little bit of a highlight. I'm gonna use a pencil. The pencil has a nice roughness to it. And I think it really works for this. It's still not bright enough. I don't want to use pure white. But that's the only shade that stands out. I was about to add it to the gums, but I forgot I'm on a selection. That's not what I'm doing. Deselect. Just a little bit of white to the gums. Dim it down a bit. Because we don't want them too shiny. There we go. Might need just a hair more shading to the teeth. Let's go back to that layer. Just get a little darker here. Because it kind of almost seems like it did another thing. I just realized I'm no longer on my selection tool. But I think we're gonna be fine. Sometimes you can get a little messy with your layers. Just so long as you don't think you're gonna regret it later. It just comes with experience. This one, I don't think... There's not gonna be any complex things that I'm gonna do with the teeth. Then... Unless I covered them in saliva, but I don't think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh yeah. Add like the lip going over it. Blocking the light. Just a bit of roundness if you're a psychopath that pays attention to that level of detail. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so what can we work on next? Let's do the cat ears. I think that's somewhere in the Bible. And he said unto them, cat ears. Oh yeah, let me select the layer. Choose the right color of white. That's not even... Or is that because it's on multiply there? Yeah, there it is. Let's keep the pencil just so I can do the outline of the ears. Come on. I'm sagely being very careful with these ears. Just to see what would it look like as a multiply layer. Like nothing ever happened. Overlay isn't too good as either. Yeah, the only way you're gonna be able to see any of this is if you keep it normal. Yeah. I'm also gonna deselect for a second so I can make sure. Because sometimes the selecting from opaque can act a little weird. I think it has to do with the feathering. So you won't actually like grab all the layers you need. Yeah, there we go. That's one ear. Start working on the other. We're gonna grab that. There's two parts to the cat ear. There's the ear and the inside fleshy bit. There's probably a nicer word for it. But we're going with inside fleshy bit. Oop. So let's deselect for a second. Make sure the outside isn't acting funny. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I did it on the wrong layer. I'm so angry I could cry. Oh man, that's so upsetting. Oh, whatever, we're just gonna... make sure we're on the right layer. I'm disappointed in myself, you know? Ah! There we go. Working on cat ears is serious business, and if you don't pay attention, you can get hurt. Let that be a lesson to all of us. And so we can work outside the selection. The selection tool isn't a perfect method, but it gets me by. Okay. So now it is correct. Alright. And to make it a little bit easier, we're gonna work directly under that layer. Just add the pink part. This is gonna be a little bit bright because it's a less of a realistic ear color and more just a cartoonified cat ear. I think this is making sense. Yes. There we go. Alright, so now we have the two main sections of the ear. Oh, there's still another layer. This one's gonna be pink, the hair bow part. Trying to find a good pink color. That's not the same color, is it? I don't think those are two different colors. Is it because it's a multiply? Oh, that's definitely not what I need. We're gonna have to go normal in this one. Too polite of a too pastel. It doesn't feel real. I feel like there's whenever you get something that's bright, girly pink, I think it was what they would call it. It's a very particular pink, like it's a very bright, garish pink. Very saturated. Almost like that, but that's way too purple and strong. Something kind of in the middle of those two. That feels right. That feels like the one. Is it ugly? Yes. But it feels real to me. I'm on the wrong layer. I cut it early. There you go. Now we have the hair bow. And thus the cat ears are complete. Let's just fix some bits here. I can see like little gaps in the color. Like I said, it's not a perfect solution to just select from opaque every time, but it gets the job done. Ah, there you go. Alright, so where do we work first? Let's add some tone to the white, because I think that's going to be that's kind of the most distracting part right now. I keep pressing. There you go. Actually, let's make this full screen. Okay. Okay. Then the new layer. And this is gonna be a bluish tone. It's gonna be pretty blue. Yeah, that actually feels right. And we could just lower the layer as a whole if we don't feel like it's right. Still like that. Just big strokes. And then we're gonna select the pencil, set it to erase. Then we're gonna actually like put individual hairs, but I might need to shrink the brush. Come on, stop. There we go. Let's go with a 3. It's a little bit too short. Just a 4 then. There we go. Just add some little hairs. Not too much here because it's kind of completely in the shadow. Maybe some on the opposite side. There we go. And I think I'm even going to make a darker blue to add just like a 3rd layer of depth. We're on erase mode. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Then we can just lower the opacity once if I feel like it's too strong. Or we're gonna keep it at 100 for now and change it later. Some would say this is too much detail for cat ears, and I say nonsense. There's no such thing. The more lifelike, the happier we are as human beings. We're actually also going to just add a gradient of sorts. Okay. Alright, let's deselect for now. And just see how this looks. I'm going to lower the strength because it's a little bit too strong. And I'm going to do that for both layers actually. Because I don't want a distracting level of detail. It's too soft. Bigger in the 80s is good. And then for the darkest spots. Right there feels good. And around the 66. Alright, the other section should be a lot easier. Because it's not individual hairs. Let's do the inside of the ears. Select from opaque. Place. New layer. Okay. So from here. It's grab this color and then just make it a little darker. Why is it not showing up? Oh, it's the same color. I'm an idiot. So what's a darker tone than that? It's a more desaturated tone, but it's not darker. Something like a palish purple. Yeah, that feels good. Just softly add it in. No, I don't like the airbrush. I like a little bit of texture to it. I'm trying to think of how the shadows would work within the dynamics of a cat ear. Because if the main source of lighting is from... Oh, I'm in a selection layer. The main source of lighting is this flash right here. I think it's going to produce this shadow from the inside of the ear, but also because this is going to be further away, it's going to be just a tiny bit of shadow there. That is the end of my TED Talk for cat ears. And then here on this side, we can be a lot more heavy with the shadow. Why is it? Am I in the wrong layer? What's going on here? Oh, I see. I was just in the wrong layer. I think this one can just be almost entirely just in shadow. But I think I'm gonna add a little bit of depth, so like slightly there, and just a little bit more on this inside. Maybe just a little glint of something here. Maybe some reflected light. Maybe the opposite side, actually. So just a soft and a harder one here. A little bit more on the inside. How does that look? Wow, that didn't work at all. Not just yet. Maybe like a hard shadow there. No, I think we're there, but I think we need to go back to the opposite side. So from here, and then from here. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. That feels better. Okay, we're worrying too much about this. We're gonna move on. So next we're gonna do the hair bow. This disgusting pink color. So where did this color come from? Like right here? That feels right. Multiply. That's way too red. Something more desaturated. There we go, that feels a little better. Not close enough. And then maybe just a little glare. Because this is kind of a shiny plastic color. Try to get it feel right. Come on. Just get it right, please. Please, I beg of you. Just let me get it right. Maybe just a little bit of glare from the other side. I'm gonna add another layer of shadow. Just a tiny bit. Because it gets a little flat on this end. Oh, let me go back to the selection. Okay. That's the highlight, isn't it? No, this is the empty one. Where's the highlight? Okay, whatever. This works anyways. There we go. Hair bow. Overly well done. Thanks, Daniel. It's a slow work in progress. I'm glad you managed to catch the cat ear parts of this. I think we're gonna do her earring next. Then, after the earring, we'll move on to something a little bit more substantial instead of all these tiny, tiny details. Right there. That's the earring. Okay. So this one I really need to focus on not getting too lost in, because this is completely irrelevant. Like, it's so tiny in the picture, you're not really gonna notice. What color works for Maria? I think since we're going all pink everywhere, we're just gonna keep that going. And since this one is so small, I'm just gonna... Oh, thanks, it deleted that. Oh my goodness, I'm annoyed. I'm mad, I'm mad, I'm mad. Since this is such a small detail, I don't think there's gonna be too much problem with me just adding everything onto one layer. All the coloring is just handled on a single layer. I might add another layer for everything around the jewel. And by might, I mean will. Shouldn't need to do too much here. And then just one more for some highlights. It's basically pixel art at this size. Was it important that I did that? Absolutely not. But it's been done. In case anybody's curious. Okay. So that's pretty much all the face details done. I think I'm gonna add in some highlights to the eyes, but I might wait until the later stages to do that. So let's do the hoodie next. We've got so many layers going. Here we go. Bop, bop. So select chrome opaque. New layer. We're not gonna go, it's a black hoodie, but we're not gonna go directly black. I'm gonna start with some kind of gray tone. Too bright. We need, I want to start just at least a little dark. That's not dark at all. Kind of hard to find a good tone. There's not a lot of grays on the palette that I have on my side. Whoa. That looks funky. I don't think that's what we're looking for either. That feels cheap. I don't want to use the direct gray. Oh, here we go. That's cool. That feels right. That feels like exactly what we were looking for. So this is kind of the brightest it's gonna be, the hoodie. Maybe a little bit darker on the blue side of colors. That's not even darker at all. That's dark. Oh, wait a second. Let's make this a multiply. Whoa. Not a lot of leg room in between these. So we're gonna make this a normal, just cover it up. I don't mind. But this one's gonna be a multiply. It's basically just black. Let's lighten it up. There we go. So this light's gonna be coming from above. So maybe just a little bit more. Kind of distracting with the letters. We can work on the letters later. Sure, the sides can be darker. I think I need it a little smaller. So with her lifting her leg, it's gonna be a little bit like this. Okay. Let me try increasing opacity for a minute. I think real quick, let me go ahead and fix this little area where there's no shading. What's going on there? Why is it hello? Alright, we're gonna also then eat away at it with the sim brush. So I can get a little bit better gradients. Try not to overthink this part too much. Sharpen this up a bit. It's easier to work with light if you're racing away from dark. Oh. And what I wanted to also do was add a little bit of a reflective light. Sorry for what? Okay. I said okay, but then I immediately wanted to start working on it again. Just some additional areas I want to work on. Starting to realize there shouldn't be any light here. except for maybe some reflection, some reflective light. Okay. Sorry for what? I keep saying okay, like I'm finished, but then I notice like something I don't want to fix. There we go. Why is it lagging? Why? There we go. Something feels off right now. What is... Why does this shade not feel right? Close enough, Tom. Why? Okay. I'm fighting with the window. Okay. So get it to there we go. All right, this is a nice little tone. I think I'm just gonna add a layer of like black to darken everything as a whole. And just work on this tone. Just change the opacity to fix it. Let's make it a multiply. Oh, this feels perfect. This actually is exactly how I wanted it to look. Love it when a plan comes together. That feels right. That feels right there. Let's put back in the colors. The text I'm in. I really hope that I turned off my headset mic because I just slapped the crap out of the microphone. Okay, I think we can do the text real quick. So, something like that. That feels perfect. Maybe even another super bright layer that we can tone down later. That really feels like it works exactly, like perfectly. Let me get this one lower just a bit. . it's just a bit. I don't want it too strong. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I think the only thing I'll need is just a tiny bit more of a darker tone. And by tiny, I mean super. Just like right where everything would be darkest. That made a lot of sense. It almost just looks chrome. I'm not even on the right. Oh, I'm not selecting anything right now. Hold on. It's the perfect tone and everything. It's just I forgot to select. Okay. It actually looks chrome, and it's not intentional. Hopefully, it's not too distracting. But I think we can probably just lower the opacity of the dark layer. So let's take everything off. Yeah, that does look a little bit too chrome. So just a hint of that darkness. I think this is missing the tone. This is a little bit too bright here. Oh my goodness, I keep forgetting. I think that layer right there is actually taking things too far. It feels a little better, maybe even just slightly dark. That feels right. That's the one. All right. That's the hoodie. Oh, I just noticed something. That's gonna be might be a problem. We're gonna select all these text layers. Group that. We're gonna do some funky stuff here. Oh, I want to let me close the group. There it goes. Duplicate it. I'm gonna flatten this layer. Merge the group. Turn this off. And then we're just gonna erase it. For the sake of the little pull strings, drawstrings. That's not an erase. We're also gonna have to erase do the exact same thing for the text, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. Not too bad. The only reason why I'm not just erasing it directly is just in case I change my mind on anything. So this one should be also pretty easy. So duplicate, turn one of them off. That's gonna be like our reserved copy. I don't know what word I'm just trying to use. There you go. think I'm gonna need to add some more shading to the drawstrings because they kind of look flat. I don't think I paid enough attention to those. Where are we at? Where are we at? Yeah, where? This is the overall black gradient. I think this is the one. Don't want to get too complex. It's not that important. But just enough to add depth to these little things so that you can tell they're an object within the same space. Animal Crossing. I was thinking of a different song. I'm gonna add. This might be a little bit too early, but like a lighter tone. C. Okay. Feels like a level of depth that was a little unnecessary at this moment, but I'm gonna just die it down a little bit. There you go. That's not what I wanted to do. Why did it go to 2% opacity? Where'd it go? What are we even doing? What is this layer? Did something happen? Oh, okay. It went. I accidentally switched over to overlay instead of normal. There we go. There you are. Alright, let's put back on our belt. Just a second. There's a dog that opened my door. Alright. So the hoodie's pretty much done. I think I'm only going to need to add some highlights to the hoodie whenever we get around to the lighting stage. So I'm going to need pants. Debatable. Shoes and belt and back pouch. We might be able to stop with her for a bit and move to Tetsuya. I'm gonna have to reorganize these layers and merge them together, but I'll wait till later because it's getting kind of unmanageable in this section. Seems like that. Give it a little bit more room. Tetsuya. There you go. So let's start with his. So very similar to what we did for her. Add another layer. Run paintbrush until normal. Make the brush bigger. Not too big because he's actually tiny too. Whoa, that is way too bright. Well, actually, this is the base tone. I do want a little bit more of the blue coloring. It's more of a green. They're at the same color. Make it a multiply. That's not what I wanted. Overlay? Soft light. Okay, none of these layers are working. Let's just make it a transparent layer. That way it mixes with the blue that's already naturally there. That's why we have underpainting. Okay. Then we can start adding the tone, the shading. There we go. Perfect. So he's almost entirely in shadow, maybe some from the back. But let's just start by darkening him up completely. Just bathing him in night. I also want to just immediately out of the gate, I want to give him some light from the back, some reflective light. Please stop that. How does that look from super far? I think it shows up just barely, which is fine by me. So long as it's like vaguely noticeable at a glance. It just means I don't have to be super clean with it. Noticing that her ear comes out a bit. Just the subtle lining of his body and suit. Maybe peeks out his chest, underarm. It's a bit too bright there. Want something more subtle. Why is it so bright here? I'm not sure why it's doing it. But anyways. Yeah, it's kind of all the that I need from there. I think I'll add one more layer of darkness just for the pitch black of his suit. I should probably select from his suit layer. Oops, wrong layer. There we go. Just the closer you get to the center, the darker it is. Okay, I think we're good there. Oh, we need to make his flash. He's just completely in the shadow. Select, opaque, paste. Right, so he's gonna get the same color as his sire, his child. Child with the E on the end. That's not the same color, is it? Third color. What color of foundation does she use? Oh, okay, I see. There we go. Kind of a minty gray. How we do? I don't think I'm gonna work too hard on the blush or anything. Just a tiny bit of shading as far as his skin. And he's an older vampire, so he probably wouldn't have like any youth left. It'd probably just be all dusky grayness. She's pretty fresh. She's only like 2-3 years old. And post vampirism. She's, I think, in total like 20. Just barely over 20. I'm putting too much detail into this, aren't I? I got lost in all the detail work. I need to speed this part up. Because it's not super important how accurate the shading is. Oh, too big. I wanted it bigger, but not that. Just 1 degree darker. That's not dark at all. Wait, make it a multiply. There it is. Probably an additional thing I'm gonna add is that he has tattoos. So let me... Where did this layer just go? I'm not gonna lie, a little upset. Where did this layer just go? It went all the way to the very, very back of the entire drawing. I'm so confused right now. Did he just do it again? What is happening? I'm gonna scream. I'm trying to do just like one simple 2-second layer and it's... We're just gonna delete. I'm gonna click on this layer. I'm gonna make a new one again. That was super upsetting. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up the reference real quick. Where is it? Oh, the entire... Okay. So this is actually going to be more of a reddish color first. Again, this is probably one of those things that I don't need to work too hard on. But the reason I'm adding these weird colors is because he's part of the Yakuza. So he's got tattoos all over his body that are at this point pretty warped and unsightly. But just felt like adding that detail. And while I'm at it, let me also... Okay. We can put him away now. Be gone. Reference. Some additional details real quick. Let me... That is teeth color. Add a bit of highlight to it. And that's a really bright white. What is happening? Oh, it's on erase. Okay. And the same to his eyes. They're just fleshed out. Okay. And I think just one of the very last things we're gonna do is white shirt. for his huge muscular chest. There we go. Again, one of the areas I really don't need to spend too much time on because it's so small in the overall scheme of things. But alas, I will work on it anyways. Maybe just a slightly more saturated blue tone for the shadows. Why is that not showing up at all? We're on a race. There you go. I'm gonna deselect. Yeah, looks good. Tetsuya is pretty much finished. I think there's some smaller details that I could work on, like his necklace bit. That is real small. So I don't think I need to work on it. That one's definitely something I could skip out on. I would say Tetsuya is completely done. Maria is about 50% done. What's the time looking like? Still got another 30 minutes so I can get some more things done. Ooh, big ol' stretch. Oh. Oh goodness, that felt good. I hope that didn't bother anybody. Kind of don't feel like working on the chair, but kind of the only thing we haven't worked on at this point. And he is the star of the show. No. Is this a group layer? It is, isn't it? No, it isn't. I'm an idiot. Okay. So we're gonna select from this layer. Place. So get this. Get a good darkish tone. Let's go back to the other one. Colored gray. I really like this. I've never thought about this palette. Really? That's as dark as it is. What if I make it a multiply? Will that make it better? A lot better, actually. Okay, let's do this. So let's multiply, leave it at like 60%. And we're just gonna try to copy the general shape of everything. We're gonna leave this hole inside. Well, let's try to trace around it. And this outside's gonna be colored. What's next? The top is kind of cut out weirdly. Hold on, what is going on here? I think that would be like this. And just falls along the back of it, so I think the center of the chair would be like right here, so let me fix this. I'm gonna erase these bits. So everything from there is gonna be red. Fix that when we get to it. Just 2 strips of red over here, not right on the very back. Two super cool gamer stripes. If it's right. So then this is gonna be here. This one's a little complex, so it wraps all the way around. And then just like a tiny strip here. Then everything else is just black. Okay, so this is gonna be dark. This is gonna be dark. Just some X's to mark out where I'm gonna add this dark color to. Okay. So we're gonna go in with just this fill brush. It's on erase right now. Okay, and we're just gonna fill this all in. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Please, why is it not? Okay. Sorry, my hotkeys are a little sticky. I don't know why I call them sticky. They're just not moving. We're gonna ignore that. I think the more accurate term I was looking for is that they're kind of like, I've mashed them in so many times that they kind of don't work as well as they would right out of the box. Not that they are sticky, but you know what? The word's been said. I've done it. There's no getting back. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and save because I feel like the app is getting really laggy. Kind of having a fight just to pan correctly. Follow along. Amogus. some bulk shading. Oh my goodness, please. Why is it? I have to pan with the overview because keys being annoying right now. I don't think it's actually an issue with the tablet. I think it's something wrong with the application being a little finicky right now and slow. Trying not to get really annoyed right now. Man, I am fighting with this software. Ah. There we go. No, we're gonna keep that actually. And just erase this little ugly corner over here. There you go, that actually looks great. It's starting to look very gamer. Much gamer. If I do say so myself. Save. Hello. you're here in the last 20 minutes, but I'm glad you're here. We have made a lot of progress since last time. Maria's even become a chair. Hold on. Get rid of the reference. Bah. So I got into the just a bit of the skin, and needed to be tweaked a bit. I did the ears. I did the earring. The hoodie got colored in. I pretty much did everything for this guy back here. I just realized his belt isn't done at all, so maybe not everything for him. I have to come back to that. And I'm trying to get some of this knocked out too. I'm using a gamer chair as a reference for some of the details. This is very much not my style of gamer chair, or chair in general, but it feels proper for this character. Like this would be something that the character has. Like, I think it looks atrocious, but I think she would think it looks super rad. She'd probably unironically say gnarly. There you go. Oops. There you go. Yeah, they're just super common, and I think most people don't really think too hard about what kind of chair they want. Like not think about like the orthopedics or the lumbar support. They're just like, I want a chair that looks like it fits with the rest of the room, which I don't blame them for. It's a valid concern. All right. So I'm also gonna do a very simple gradient. This song's distracting me. So we're just gonna just take black. And I kind of want... Please. I'm kind of fighting with the software right now. It's on erase for whatever reason. Huh? There you go. Please. That feels right. What is up with this banding on the gradient? It's really upsetting. I think I'll just use a giant airbrush instead. Still on erase, I'm gonna hurt myself. There we go. And just lower the opacity. There you go. Then I think we should work on the chair bits. I think I call them the metal bits on this layer. So I select from opaque, replace. There we go. Now we're only working with this area. Stop. What's a good tone for this one? Kind of like that tone. But preferably, let's do it on the correct layer. Okay, it's a good tone. Now I want to darken it up, so we're gonna do a multiply, grab it black. Have to keep in mind like the lighting. It's pretty tough. I think just completely black these out and then erase from it. Set this to erase. Just some light lighting on the wheels. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe this is where I'm having the issue. Okay. Let me deselect everything for a second just to see how it looks. Okay, that's not too bad. I think I just need to add just one more lighter tone to really pull everything together. So let me select, reselect. And we're gonna make this a we're gonna lower the opacity of this entire layer because I don't want it too strong. This is not, wait, why is it not working? I'm on the base layer. There we go. Let's add another level of shading to like add more, even yet another layer of depth. Bah, super bright. Let me deselect it and see how this looks. I actually kind of like how it looks when it's super bright. Just not in this area right here. So let me erase this bit. Whoa, we're way too right there. Right there's good. And we need to do the same for the top layer. So let's select this layer again. What's our time at? Oh, I only have like 2 minutes. I'll stay just a little bit longer just to finish out this chair. And then we should be done for today. I actually think this layer will look good. This color will still look good too. Oh, I'm on just straight up the top layer. Okay. I'm gonna keep this one at a very bright 100% opacity and then just lower it later. So if it looks a little terrible, give it a second. A little garish. Turn your head away from the garish light of day. Just the hint of blue in this shade is really nice, making it look like it's coming from the monitor, which is kind of exactly what I wanted. What I would hope for. trying to dull out how bright it is on this side. I'm on the wrong layer again. I'm gonna scream. There we go. Fear my scream. There's rage against the machine. Just trying to dull how strong everything is. Or how bright it is on this side of the chair. The lighting is a little tricky. There you go. That looks a lot better. Alright. Think we're gonna call it there. Whew. I'm really glad I got as much as I need, as much done as I did. I'm gonna have to go through and kind of merge some of these layers because I think the amount of layers I have is a little insane right now. Let's pull back up the notes to self and see what I got done. So I think, let me kind of use this as an eraser. Whoa. Let's not use that as eraser. And let's grab a pen. Go back to my regular color palette. This is a long walk for a little sip of water. Alright. It's not a very nice color. That's good. Very bright. Too big. There we go. Actually, just for fun, I'm gonna use a Comic Sans brush. Comic text brush. Alright. So I've pretty much done the in-depth shading for her skin, ears, everything on above her waist. I think I just need to do her belt, her pants, and shoes. Let's just call that the lower half. So, in depth. And then under that, Maria's lower half. Tetsuya's belt. Okay. I think that's kind of all the shading I want to do on the chair as far as like in-depth shading. We're only gonna have to do the lighting later. So we're gonna call that one done for now. So then from there we need to finish up the rug and poster. Bye. Thanks for joining while you could. Sorry the lag was so bad. So yeah, the rug and poster. We're gonna have to color the room. Lighting is pretty much the final step. And we're gonna put like a general final touches. So that would be like just making sure everything blends together right, making sure what needs to stand out stands out correctly. Maybe add some extra shadows here and there. All that's gonna come later. So we're, I want to say like another 2 sessions. I know I said 2 sessions last time, but I really feel like we're getting so close. I mean, it's really just pants, belt, shoes, Tetsuya's belt. And that's pretty much all for like the in-depth shading. The rug and poster really shouldn't take that long either. I don't think that's going to be super in-depth. Maybe just like three layers, 3 levels of color and shading. Adding color to the room, so maybe just like a base coat of green for the walls, brown for the floor, and letting it mix with the color underneath, the blue, to kind of just generalize all the palette. That might be what I do. Lighting is probably going to be the one that takes the most time, because that's just going to be like a glare, different opacities, some multiply layers, and then final touches to really pull it all together, just to like make it all cohesive into a piece. But otherwise, I think we're really close to being finished. Then the 2 session, I'll go ahead and put a buffer, maybe a 3rd session after this, just so I don't feel like I'm lying to myself. Yeah, getting really close to finishing. Thanks for being here. I hope the audio wasn't too bad, or the buffering wasn't too bad. If it was, remember that I do have a YouTube channel that you can catch up on. There's the full streams that will be uploaded, as well as the highlights channel, which will just be really quick time lapses of this if you want to see all of it done within like the span of 10 or so minutes. And I edit those pretty much immediately. So yeah. Let me check just one thing. So it looks like it's not streaming the chat into... So for whatever reason, all the things that are supposed to be visible during chat... Oh, I see the issue. I'm such a moron. Well, that's upsetting. I put all the layers for everything underneath everything.